Welcome to Chalky Podcast. My name is Sebastian.
My name's Jose, guys.
How you doing?
Good, brother.
You look the same.
Maybe it's filmed the same day, right? Possibly.
No, never. It's live. It's all live. So today we're going to talk about signs of a bad truck, red flags. Buying a new truck is going to be a thing in 2021. End of the year. This is pre New Year's Eve kind of episode. People are thinking about. I'm getting hit up a lot. Hey, I'm buying a truck. What would you recommend?
Your goals for 2021 starting to.
Yeah, I have that a lot. A lot of guys are hitting me up, and in comments we also have a lot of requests, which I have an idea how we could maybe help out with that. Maybe if somebody finds a listing, we can set up a platform where they can submit it or call in and tell us what they have, and we can help out with that. Let us know what you guys think. We would like to do some kind of a help out with buying, right? We not necessarily always have the ability to go out, and we've helped a decent amount of subscribers.
Yeah, we have
with buying trucks, but it has to come here. We have no capacity to leave the shop, and we can do an inspection.
We're tight right now, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully
down the line we'll be able to do it.
Yeah, that is the goal.
That's the goal.
It would be also good content, if we go and shoot it, but that requires techs. So if you know somebody that's looking for work and is a good passionate tech that loves like geeking out on trucks, then send us our way.
Exactly.
Or visit us. We're here every day on Sunday, even after church. Signs of a bad truck. So red flags.
I would say right off the bat would be same like if you're buying a car, you check the oil. Oil cap. You remove it, check if there's any condensation. Where is it coming from?
Blow by.
Coolant? Yeah, blow by. Let it warm up.
I would say idle.
Idle, yeah.
How it's idling.
Is it noisy, hard to start?
Yeah. It's easier to say for us because we know our trucks and we know how engines should sound, but what do you want to look for if actually somebody that is not familiar with an engine running, or you don't have that ear for, what would you say is something that you should
something you want to look out for is definitely like a loud tick or any loud knocking, obviously. Something on the overhead.
Rough idle.
Meaning
look at the RPM.
You know how the ISX, I'm not too sure if you came across those ISX, they have that rough idle when they're cold.
They do, but what about the DD15 in the Detroits with the fluctuating RPM when there's either oil pump or something's going on, right? So that idle is important, but yes, some of them have that.
The cold start. Series 60, those are really rough in the cold start.
Yeah. Series Detroits, Cummins, I would say. Right? Would you agree with me or no?
Yeah, Cummins, yeah.
On the rougher side as far as idle morning cold starts, but I would like to more focus on the engine's just not healthy, so blow by definitely, rough idle. Look at the oil. That's the number one thing.
If it was recently changed, then it's a little bit tougher.
You're not going to know, yeah. But it also depends on where you're buying from. But regardless, look at the oil.
Yeah.
And if it's been changed, you see new filters in. But the blow by, and that definitely, that could be one red flag, right? The RPM and the engines are just not running right. Do cold starts always. Don't start the truck. I want to start it when I get there. Look at the exhaust, right? That's also important. Why would you want to look at the exhaust?
You want to look if there's any exhaust oil coming out of the exhaust or any fuel coming out. Obviously, sometimes you are going to have some overfueling when it's cold.
Yeah, it is. But if it's excessive,
then you got a bad injector somewhere.
Squirrels are a sign of just being parked for a long time. It's like, I've seen that too. What's next?
Oil leaks. That's a really common thing, and I'm pretty sure everybody's scared of oil leaks.
Particularly in D13.
D13
favorite leaks are where?
on the cylinder head, on the right hand side. It's a really common leak right there. Timing cover on the rear. You got your IRMA harness, injector harness,
which is also a D12 issue too.
That was a big issue with the D12s.
Do you want to explain why? The D12.
The way it sits, and then you got the harness all
on the back.
In the back, yeah.
So instead of leveling the engine, they figured in the D13, hey, let's just flip it.
Yeah. Really good engineering right there.
Yeah, that's just easier. But no, it's still on an angle. Because the D13 has also the same similar issue.
It does, but not as bad though.
No, not as bad.
No, it's more like a seepage rather than a leak.
But I don't think it's a Volvo or not Volvo issue. I think it's across the board. Engine harness, injectors, all that.
Same with the Series 60; those leak in the back all the time.
Yeah. But where's that those are the leaks. Those are red flags that you want to address. I would say the most important one being that harness, because that's going to cause a lot of electrical issues. You're going to see that on the dash.
Yeah. You got that oil, and it's going to be. It will run from there.
It creates resistance.
Resistance, exactly.
Yeah. So
you might have a miss every now and then on the injectors.
Yeah. So the drier the engine, the better. The wetter the engine, the more you're risking here. Especially look when the engine's leaking and it's a let's say I don't know pre 2006-07, not that big of a deal. But if you start going into all the emissions and now, then that's going to trigger a lot of electrical issues. I would go further and say pre 2000. I don't care.
It's going to leak
if it's leaking, right?
Yeah.
With that said, and we're talking about red flags and when to kind of ask some more questions and raise, hey, this is a red flag, this is a red flag, and kind of maybe have a form of elimination, like this many red flags, I'm walking away. But if somebody's not going to let you do an oil sample, that's also
a red flag.
Red flag. Yeah. Even though it changes how you're buying trucks, and if your expertise gets better, then that oil sample, it's still very important, but not necessarily always stops you from buying a truck.
Yeah.
But if somebody's being very weird about it or difficult to have you do that, then that's a red flag. I think it's good to know.
Recently, we had a subscriber come in. I'm not sure if I told you, Jack. He brought a truck after the last time you met him.
Mm-hmm.
Another D12. It looked like a better frame. Everything was in a lot better condition. Only issue was he had a lot of oil coming out of the cylinder number 1. He didn't catch it, and I saw that right away. And he's like, "Whoa, that's an indication of worn cylinder."
Yeah. Was it the one he brought to the shop?
He brought a green one time, and then I believe it was on a Friday. He brought a red one.
That was the one you told me I wasn't here. Yes.
Yeah.
So
correct.
shout out to Jack. Thank you for support, man. I don't think you didn't tell me about that, but that's a good.
And that one was pushing oil out of the exhaust manifold. Obviously, that cylinder is worn out.
Yeah, and he was actually pretty set up to be able to pull the oil sample, and I would. And again, there are a few labs that you can do it quickly within a week. So look it up. I'm not gonna
sponsor anybody.
We're open. Send us an email. What I would say another red flag is swaps from auto to manual.
Yeah, we've seen that. that. And
why would be a red flag though? Because if it's not done properly.
If it's not done properly, it's going to cause you electrical issues down the line, and then the guy, he might know what he's doing, and then you have the guys that are not properly splicing, properly putting heat shrink or etc., and then you have resistance, corrosion, gauge is not working, losing speed, the speedometer.
Yeah.
What else? The holes being cut on the cab.
Yeah. That's a big one.
That's
exhaust going into the cab, but I brought it up because we've had in the past few situations and we had a truck that was like, I bought, not knowingly, some time ago, a truck that I didn't know was swapped
Yeah,
because
converted.
I bought it through a text message
Did you?
with not somebody I know.
Um,
He didn't. I don't think he knew it was a quick deal. I mean, I got my money back like immediately, but it was causing issues. We needed to address a lot of those electrical issues, and that would be a red flag. Next, what do you think? What do you got over there written down?
rust. That's a huge
yeah,
one.
Yeah, that is big.
Volvos, we've mentioned rust under the cab. Under the cab, the floor, frame rails. We actually got a video out there of what to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't done one yet on the frame rails.
No.
What's a common spot
No.
that they rust out? We should.
Yeah.
Next time we come across one, we should have
How
done
it's affecting.
82 before we junked it.
We did, but did we did? I think we should talk about how the cab is leaning, because that's one of the indicators that could be, either collapsing, the rails are collapsing in the back, or you have to look at the back and how the cab is in
If it's shifted to either
in
way.
rust versus cab mounts.
Yeah.
Because you could have old shocks, old airbags in the back that also will do the same thing. But that's
Exactly.
something that you want to look at for sure. Is it rust or is it actually just components?
Components that are worn out.
But rust killed some good trucks that we had with even low mileage. I really regret that one of the D12s we had. It was really a low mileage for D12, but the rust killed it.
Yeah.
And it was a good investment for us. But I wish that truck, lived a little longer. What else you think? Like visually looking at, hey, I'm approaching the truck, I'm looking and buying something. If I see from the outside.
Cosmetically, I guess you want to take a look at it.
If it's important to you,
If
yeah.
it's important to you, yeah.
Yeah. But I think tires.
Hood.
Hood is
If it
important.
comes down to a Volvo hood, absolutely.
If cosmetic, but that's both cosmetic and function of that part is, and it's super expensive to fix
Yeah.
on any truck. So that's a good one. That's definitely something to look at.
Another issue, let's say,
And how it opens, it's important.
yeah,
So different design, has it been updated or swapped? I mean, for a newer part, because the Coronados with the spring, it's not that big of a deal, but
them being hard to open up.
It is, yeah. And then now they're getting they're wearing out on the inside. They're wearing the truck itself on the side.
Yeah.
But that's a good one. I would say tires.
Tires, yeah. Take a look at how they're wearing out.
Mhm.
If they're wearing out, if you have new tires, then I would definitely right away get the kingpins checked out. You don't
Mhm.
want to damage those brand new tires that you got on there.
Yeah. Can you check kingpin visually at a parking lot without lifting it? It's
Not
very hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Because it could be either the hub or it could be you got to jack it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be
But
misalignment.
that should be
or-
asked. If you do take it to a shop for a pre-purchase inspection, ask them to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you have old tires, you will see by the wear. If you have a new tire, then it's either hiding or it's been fixed. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure it's
Yeah.
been fixed.
But yeah, if the kingpins were done recently, you'd be able to see a brand new bearing, new gaskets up on top,
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So
New cotter pins. You'll see new cotter pins because components were removed, drag link, pivot arm, etc.
but if you see new tires on old rusty ones, that means you definitely have to check it out.
Yeah.
For sure. Anything else you want to add? Like, what's a red flag when you're thinking, looking at a truck or walking up to it? I mean, the trashed interior, things like that. That's definitely something that.
Red flag. Another one would be when we've came across those trucks that you have drivers that like to work on their own trucks, but then they start splicing here, splicing there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big.
Yeah, it is. It's a good point. Self-fixing saves money, but if it's not done properly, it's going to cost maybe not the owner, but the next person
Yeah.
a little bit of money into trying to figure out how many harnesses we have to figure out. Somebody is splicing things
Splicing
up
it and not properly.
and not properly, and then changing things, and all of a sudden we have a puzzle of 1,000 piece puzzle to figure out for a stupid headlight.
Yeah. Not only that, but it's also comes down to, if you do a repair, secure it properly so you don't have wires rubbing up against a frame rail, shorting out, etc.
Yeah. Interesting. But I think those are the most important ones. Engine idle, how it runs, oil leaks, harness especially, oil sample it, transmission swaps, rust, is it rusted out, and the history, knowing the history. The fleet buying is good because there were no corners cut for sure, but also fleets don't do certain things when they know they're dumping it, which is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So that's definitely, we know of some fleets. I know of some fleets that would,
once they get to a certain amount, 400, 450, let's
and
start.
it's different fleet has different approach to that, right? Why would you bother with a truck that the warranty's out and now you have to figure out, and it's usually the medium-sized fleets.
Yeah, because if you're in a bigger fleet, then you want that truck running.
But it's also like, look at let's say Schneider, and let's look at some other smaller. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, but I would tell you that everybody has a different approach to that, the mileage range, and from what I think, Schneider has the most successful team looking at fuel efficiency, and I'm probably I'm not exaggerating, but I've had really good experience with how they spec their fleets, and they spend a lot of money on trying to figure that out and have an efficient fleet. So I'm not aware of JB Hunt's, to be honest with you, if you were comparing the big ones, because they're under the radar white trucks. They're just going to the market, right? With the orange Schneider trucks, it's easy to kind of see what they were doing, how they're specing. But I would like to learn about that a little bit more. Awesome. Certainly for us, for me, the decisions on unifying the fleet was it's a must. And the bigger you get, you have to do it. Helps on every level.
Lower expenses for sure.
Simplifying, even training our techs.
Yeah.
You can be very specific. At what's going on the floor. You can have a guy that's an entry level mechanic to a medium level pretty quickly by certain things that you're just overseeing how he's doing, and then he's going to be comfortable working on the same truck all the time. When you throw different engines on them, it's just going to be like, they will not retain the info as quickly. I think it's practice.
That's practice, yeah. But it's, I don't know. I could be wrong. It's always never. This goes for anything. You never want to be in that comfort zone.
Yeah, but that's called growth mindset, and you want to learn and have that. I feel like decent amount of. I'll specifically say tax here will not everybody's like, hey, not every shop will allow them to mess up. We've talked about it before. The shop's paying for the mistakes. So that's the risk here. If you're willing to go there and the management sees it, then great. But if you keep repeating that mistake,
then that's a big no.
Then it's a big loss of money for the shop. So that's why having an opportunity to learn from somebody and somebody guiding you is a great opportunity, but it's stressful because it costs money. But that's a different topic. I think it's investing in one's knowledge and investing in yourself and investing in expanding and being better at what are you doing. You like the challenge of having different things and having hard things to solve. I'm thinking more about across the board, our shop in general. How do you take and elevate everybody else's skills with the comfort level of them knowing and how they're allowed to fail? And do they really want to do
they want to push themselves?
Because they're just going to keep failing if they're not interested in progressing in their skills or being awesome techs.
Yeah, like you mentioned, they got anybody that comes through the door, perfect opportunity to learn. And that goes, I would say, well, we can't say for every shop, like you mentioned, because not every shop's going to allow you to.
Just are from our experience, yeah. We definitely are assembling our team that way, and growth is the way to go. So
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, brother. It's Happy New Year, and I say 2021. What do you think? Are we going to double the size, triple the size?
Let's triple the size.
Let's triple the size, and let's find some good people and teams for Truck You interviews, and I would say more people creating with us. I really want to create
do more
channel
interviews
that we can help other people. So thank you guys for watching. Happy New Year. Subscribe if you like the episode, and happy all the best in 2021.
Let's hope for the best.